Thus far we have looked at the Shivrei Luchot side of the equation, and drawing from midrashic material identify a positive component as demonstrated by the fact that they accompanied the soldiers as they went out to fight the various Canaanite nation states. We will now turn to the terminology used by the Yerushalmi, the statement that the death of tzaddikim is kasher lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We will look at two midrashic sources that contrasts God's involvement with the needs of man to that of the Kriyat Yam Suf. First comes to us from Talmud Bavli Sota, Daf Bet Amud Aleph, in which the Gemara digresses from the topic of Sota to discuss the difficulties facing HaKadosh Baruch Hu in arranging for people to marry their life partners. The Gemara proposes that although the respective individuals may in many cases feel that they are each in control of their destinies, the view of the Gemara is that there is a force functioning behind the scenes in bringing these two people together. The Gemara then quotes a position traced back to the Tana Rabbi Yochanan, who states that V'kashin leZavgan, Zavgan from the word zivug, Zayin Vav Gimel, to match people up, to coincide, to make things happen, and this is Kashin Kekriyat Yam Suf, as the splitting of the Yam Suf. Clearly this comparison needs further clarification. What is useful to us at this point in time is that the term kasher, used in connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, suggests a positive activity. In this case, we have positive outcomes, both in the Zavgan side of the equation, bringing two people together, and the Kriyat Yam Suf, that enabled the Bnei Israel to escape finally from the Egyptians. A similar comparison to Kriyat Yam Suf, using the term kasher, can be found in Talmud Bavli Psachim 118. The topic there is another of man's vital needs, that of parnasa, providing food, clothing, and shelter for one's family. And here, once again, Jewish belief has it that there is an invisible hand that moves man in a particular direction in the development of a parnasa. In a statement attributed to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, we are told that kashin mezonotav shel adam. Once again, the word kasha is used in connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that to facilitate the mezonotav shel adam, the parnasa needs of man, that activity is kasher, kekriyat yam suf. Once again, the comparison needs clarification, and in this respect, Rashi's commentary is klomar, that the implication from this is that Nes Gadol Oseh Lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that God, working behind the scenes, uses a level of Kedusha, that is supernatural, a Nes Gadol, to arrange that Shenoten Lo Mezonotav, that he, together with others, should receive their mezonot, their parnasa. And this level of Nes Gadol is analogous to the level of Kedusha that God displayed to Yisrael at Kriyat Yam Suf. Ka'asher asad Yisrael shekara lahem Yam Suf. From here we see that the term kasher, when used with respect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, implies a level of Kedusha that is beyond the natural forces that exist within the world. And herein may lie the explanation to the term kasher. Kabbalistically, God functions on two levels: the finite level expressed through the laws of nature, and an infinite supernatural level that we call nisim, when God needs to break the laws of nature and invoke the supernatural, as was the case with Kriyat Yam Suf. This is referred to in terms of kasher lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The kasher component lies in the fact that God must reorder the forces of nature in order to facilitate the positive outcomes, both in the case of finding a life partner and also in providing parnasa for all of mankind. Now that we have established, firstly, there was a positive component to the Shivrei Haluchot, and that the terminology of Kasher Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu is code for a Nes Gadol, the revelation of the infinite into the finite, we now return to the original statement from the Yerushalmi that the textual alignment between the death of Aharon and the smashing of the Luchot comes to inform us Shemitatan Shel Tzadikim Kasher Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Keshibur Luchot, that just as in the Shibur Luchot there was a positive component, so too with the death of Tzadikim. The challenge now becomes to identify the positive aspects of these two events, despite appearances to the contrary.